Hello YouTube, this is Keith Kevin Kent. How you doing? How you doing? I hope you're doing well. It's time again for the knife of the day. That's when I go through my collection one knife at a time, one day at a time. Today, the knife of the day is the Spyderco Introvert. Oh, it's a weird looking knife, isn't it? The Spyderco Introvert. When this came out in 2016, I really couldn't wait to get my hands on it because it was such a strange knife. And as a Spyderco collector, I wanted it in my hands and I wanted to see how it worked. Now, I had a slight advantage over some people because I do collect a lot of Spydercos. This knife, designed by Chris Knudsen, who's a knife maker and a martial artist, what he really was trying to do, and that's why I say I had a little bit of an advantage, because what he wanted to do was make a folder edition of the Spyderco Swick neck knife. This, my friends, is the Spyderco Swick neck knife. And so, while it was strange and everything, I already had the Swick, and so I was really interested in seeing how this was put together, and it really gave me a decent kind of foundation for this knife. So I wasn't as freaked out with the weirdness of this knife as some others were. I was excited to see if I could get a folding Swick knife from Spyderco, and this really is that. So let's talk about this knife. So now that you know what he really was headed for, trying to get this neck knife into a folding knife, the weird design starts to make a little bit more sense, right? So let's talk about it. Obviously, the blade, the steel portion of this knife, is one of the most interesting parts of it. So this is VG10 steel. The original Swick was S30V, but this is VG10 steel. And it incorporates a lot of the parts that the Swick did. It has this wonderful swooping back part where it goes into the blade steel right before the Spidey hole that really is comfortable to rest your finger on, your thumb. It's just a really nice knife, and kind of like your palm when you reverse it. It's just a wonderful, nice kind of part for this. It's just comfortable in the hand. Spyderco's good at that. You know, Spyderco has been known throughout the years as making some of the ugliest knives there are. But boy, do they feel good in the hand. And that's kind of what Sal Glesser was saying is, you know, they're more interested in how it fits your hand and how it looks. The other big part is the hole, the Fred Perrin hole. That's where you put your index finger into it. And I'm sure as a martial artist, he loves this. I have a collection of every Browse Blades silent soldier there is, from the fixed blades to the flippers, and I love them. And one reason I love them is this hole. It just gives you control. If you are in a fight with a knife like this, it's hard for someone to take it away from you. But it also frees up your hands, your fingers to do other things with this knife. Now, when you talk about the blade, you know, it's listed as 2.8 inches, so it's legal in a lot of places. But the cutting edge, once you count out the Perrin hole and everything else, the cutting edge is a 2.1 inches. It's a full flat ground blade. It's a decent size. Actually, this is a good EDC knife. It is. I know it's strange, but it's a very good EDC knife, and it's a small blade that makes it legal everywhere. Now, the interesting part of this knife and why Spyderco really took it on was the challenge of how do you deal with a blade with the hole and everything. Plus, you have an expanded Spidey hole, a functioning Spidey hole that you don't need on a neck knife, on a fixed blade. How do you put all this into a handle? Now, the handle is black G10, medium, I would say, traction. Not a lot of friction on the blade. I love that they used my deep carry wire clip, Spyderco's deep carry wire clip. I call it mine because I love it so much. Because of everything happening up here, the clip is right hand, left hand, tip up only. You have one of Spyderco's small lanyard holes on it. What they what they used with all of this going on is a backlock placed way back here, and there's a reason for that, because when you release the backlock and it comes down, they needed a place for the hole to go through the blade. Funky, huh? That's why I got excited. I like when Spyderco does funky designs, and this is pretty funky. So you needed a place for the parent hole to go through, that index finger hole to go through, and try to keep that handle not too fat. Now, you can open it like any other Spyderco knife with the Spidey hole, right? And that's why they needed the functional Spidey hole. You just put it up like this. But this weird design of putting that hole through the back, through this slit, and having the back lock, which is a very strong lock, is now you have this. You can also flip it open. Strange, but really effective knife. And because it's at that angle, it doesn't have a long way to travel. So it gets there quickly, right? It snaps out there quickly. And of course, you can grab it any way you want. You don't have to put your finger through the hole. But so it's a very interesting design. Chris Knudsen trying to get to the Swick, and Spyderco doing a good job. Instead of just having a fatter handle, a wider handle, not fatter, a wider handle to cover all of this, they let the hole go through, and then that allows it to be a flipper. Just a interesting design. I like this knife. Now, the one thing that I worried about a lot is putting it in the pocket because of all of this. But you know, at the bottom of your pocket, it does take up a lot of room, but not as much as you think. Okay, at least not for me. I expected it to just be a mess in the pocket. It actually isn't, because this is just normal size. You get a little bump at the bottom of your pocket, but I really like it. It's thin too. Of course, it has stainless steel liners, skeletonized full stainless steel liners. Just a lot going on in this little knife that flips, that gives you the hole, that makes it a modern day Swick. That is the Spyderco Introvert, our knife of the day. And man, what an interesting knife, huh? I want to put it next to the Native, and of course the Delica, to put it next to some knives you're familiar with. But nothing is like the Introvert. There you have it. Just a unique kind of knife as part of our knife of the day. If you're enjoying this series, don't forget to thumb it up. Let me know that you are enjoying it. You can share the link. Let people know this crazy guy is going through his 4 cases of knives. He's still on his Spyderco collection. It's going to take about a year or so. Also, don't forget to thumb it up. Oh, I told you that already. Subscribe, that helps me out. And turn on your notifications. Pretty soon, some random Some random videos will be coming your way besides just the knife of the day. Hope you're enjoying the series. I'm enjoying showing off my collection. I'm also enjoying digging out knives that, that's the problem with collecting a lot of knives. A lot of knives get lost in the Pelican cases. When you're rushing to get your EDC together. Man, what a great knife. I was happy to get it. It's great to play with. And it's actually not that bad to carry either. Thanks very much. You guys have a perfect day. Keep those pockets full. Hey, hey, hey. Take a couple of minutes to yourself. We all need some peace and quiet. All right? Do that as much as you can. It'll prepare you to take care of your families a lot better. I wish I would have done that 50 years ago. Would have helped my life a lot. You guys have a perfect day. Keep those pockets full. Goodbye.